All right, hands are going up. I'm going. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Concession Stand Podcast. Thank you for joining us this evening. For those who don't know what we do is we talk about things we like and are passionate about, like movies, games, shows, and all that good stuff. I'm going to be attempting to be your host, Sean, and I have with me my two very good friends, Jared and Micah. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves to the fine folks here listening and watching who might not know?
I am Jared, known online as Jer on Air. I am a occasional variety streamer here on twitch.tv. I enjoy games, but I also enjoy movies and television, which is why I'm very excited to be doing this podcast with these two folks. And I'm interested to jump into today's film, CODA. I don't have anything else to plug right now, so I will pass this on. Oh wait, yes I do. What am I talking about? I mean, those of you who are here probably already know, but I'm going to plug the relationship Q&A that Dr. Mick Live and I are doing. Sorry, Dr. Mick. Whoa,
wow,
back there.
Yeah.
Dr. Mick and I are doing tomorrow. So if you have any relationship questions, go ahead and head on to his channel tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific, which I understand is a horrible time. And if you are in the Discord, you can go to the relationship Q&A question section and ask them there, but I will be moderating that discussion and I'm very excited for that. So that is what I do have to plug.
Can I ask you a relationship question early?
No. You may go into the Discord and write it though.
All right.
No special privileges, even though you're a co-host on this.
Yeah.
All right. I'm working up a good one.
Nice. That's better. I would prefer that to a bad one.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about submitting a bad one, and then I was like, "Who am I kidding? I'm just throwing out zingers left and right." So, I'm Micah. I don't have much to plug except all the plugs in my house into the outlets that they like to be in, like my lamps.
That's how we can see you right now. Your computer.
Yeah,
your internet.
This lamp right here, that's plugged in.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Make a whole lot of difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I know how they work.
I have an Instagram that I kind of use sometimes. I have a TikTok that I've posted 2 videos to and don't pay attention to. What else?
What else do I got to use plug? TikTok, honestly.
I'm gonna start getting into sardines. That's a new thing in my life. I'm entering the world of craft sardines.
Do you just have like a dartboard and you just fucking threw sardines this month?
Nope. Saw a Reddit thread. People were talking about how good sardines were, and I was like, I like anchovies. Maybe I like sardines.
That's kind of like a dartboard, essentially.
Turns out there's a subreddit devoted to people who are very passionate about high quality sardines. So I'm gonna go buy some. And they're going to be expensive. And I'm going to see if I like them. I need a new hobby, guys. Sardines it is.
And you landed on sardines. Okay.
I need a new hobby, guys. Sardines it is.
How many times do you think that has not been said?
That sentence has been uttered maybe 5 times in the history of humanity.
That might be good for the brand new sentence subreddit where it's just like, this has never been said before. And
yeah, I need a new hobby, guys. Sardines it is.
I very well might be the first.
I'm going to take a big stab at it and assume that you are the first one to say that. Because my God. Okay. Well, Micah, I hope you'll keep us updated on your sardine hobby. What does it even entail? What is a sardine hobby?
Oh, dude, it's so complex. There's so much to it. Okay, so
I hope so.
It all depends on whether it's packed in oil or whether it's packed in water.
Okay.
What type of oil it's packed in, whether it's been packed with salt, pepper, vinegar, hot sauce, butter, any other types of flavorings, where the fish was packaged, where it was caught. Depends, if it was packaged in like Croatia or Poland, it's a higher quality fish. But if it was packaged in like South Africa or the Ivory Coast, it's like not necessarily a good sardine.
Okay.
Then there's some people who, I think it's just because sardines are a northern ocean fish. But maybe it is racist. I don't know. That I'm about to find out by exploring this hobby.
What goes into the hobby, though? You've told me information about sardines, but where does the hobby come in?
It's the same as like, trying craft beer or wine, or going to 5-star restaurants and being like, oh, I'm gonna do this.
So you're gonna be a sardine sommelier.
Yeah, that's it. Kara made that joke. I'm gonna be a sardinier.
Okay, that's the hobby.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then maybe eventually I can start slinging out recommendations.
Is this going to be an expensive hobby? It feels expensive.
So actually, as far as hobbies go, it's a really cheap starting hobby because tinned sardines are explicitly meant to make a lot of fish cheap, because you just catch 20 billion at once and then you jam them into a jar and then you preserve them. It's like if I had a spam hobby, but with higher quality meat.
We're not going to run into any like sardine tariffs, any import taxes. We're not running into any of that.
We might.
Yeah.
I'm at the beginning stage of this hobby, Jared. So
yeah, okay, I do hope that you'll keep everybody updated here, because
I will.
You could have given me plenty of guesses, and I would have never landed on sardines. I guarantee that.
My first up are King Oscar brand sardines and Bella brand sardines are the two I'm trying first, because they're, according to the subreddit, they are good introductory sardines. Man. They are high quality, low price, and available in multiple states and countries.
See, just curious, have you thought about giving bowling a shot? Maybe I think that's.
I love bowling. I'm great at it.
He's a good bowler.
You're great at it.
I have bowling shoes. They're downstairs, but
You're
I have
bowled 300?
shoes. I have not. I've pulled a 137. I think my highest game is like 170 or 180.
I mean, that's pretty. What have you gotten in Wii bowling?
Oh, in Wii bowling, I've got a 300. No problem.
Oh, okay, Mr.
Well, it's easy because in Wii bowling, all you have to do in Wii bowling is you just take. Here, I'll use this can of Mango Ultra Energy Fiesta.
Thank you for
Monster.
Thank you for plugging them.
So
hashtag not sponsored.
You drink Monster?
I just started. It's my other new hobby.
Oh no, you need to just stop, buddy.
Sardines and
sardines and Monster. You can't mix the two. I'm telling you that right now.
Oh no.
We need you for the podcast, buddy.
Jesus.
And if you're doing that, we're not gonna have you for much longer.
Oh, I just realized maybe this isn't mango flavored.
Oh my God, Micah!
It's blue.
Why did you land on Monster?
Because it was an energy fiesta, and I was really sleepy.
Jesus.
Do you not drink coffee?
Oh, I do. I'm drinking coffee right now.
That's funny. He's got another hobby that he's starting.
Actually, my brother-in-law just got into roasting his own coffee beans, and he bought himself a bean roaster and a bean peely boy. And I almost was gonna backseat his hobby and buy myself a coffee roaster, and then
oh my God,
I decided not to because
then you hopped on Reddit and found sardines.
Yeah, basically.
This is the longest intro for any of us ever.
Well, I'm worried about my friend. Mixing sardines and Monster.
All that to say, if any of you out there have any sardine recommendations, or I'm still on the pickle train, so if anybody has any pickle recommendations, I'll try them.
You too, baby.
There it is.
So that's my plug if I were to have a plug.
That's my plug. Micah, that was easily like a 7-minute plug. That was the longest plug ever.
Listen, man,
they're get that down to about a minute.
Everybody's here for that entertaining sardine content. So.
I got off the elevator so long ago. I don't even know when. It's fine. Okay.
Well, I mean, to be fair, sardines are fish, and fish are a part of CODA, so we can go ahead and segue
into
our...
true.
You know what? Okay. Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Micah, for segueing us into CODA.
Hey, if there's anything I'm here to do, it's to segue and eat sardines. And I'm all out of sardines.
You find you a new hobby.
What are your guys' hobbies?
I think my general one's
off stream.
Yeah. So come on.
We'll get to that later. I'll figure out my life later. Anyways, CODA, how's it going?
Oh my gosh,
This is 30.
This is okay. CODA. So this is kind of confusing because I looked up on IMDb and it said it was written by 3 people, but the credits during the film only credited 1 person. So I'm confused. So I'm going to go off of what the film showed me. But anyway, the film was written and directed by Sian Heder, which the only reason I know how to say this name is because of Taskmaster, believe it or not. Sian. Her name is Sean. So that's right. You're looking at another plug. It's called Taskmaster. Written and directed.
That's a good hobby to get into.
Written and directed by Sian Heder. It stars Amelia Jones, Marlee Matlin, and Troy Kotsur, who just won an Oscar. The synopsis for this film: as a CODA, or child of deaf adults, Ruby is the only hearing person in her deaf family. When the family's fishing business is threatened, Ruby finds herself torn between pursuing her passion at Berklee College of Music and her fear of abandoning her parents and her brother. They didn't mention her brother, but her parents and her brother, I would say. For those that are listening, we will be going right into spoilers throughout. So if you have any intention of wanting to watch this, I would recommend you stop listening or watching, however you're consuming this. So, but yes, CODA, the Oscar winner, which I feel like we'll talk about in some capacity because I think it brings up the question of what is worthy of Oscars and things like that at this point. Yeah. But the movie itself, my quick little bit was, I think once it kind of started going, I was getting more into it. I was kind of interested to see how they were going to, I figured at some point they were going to immerse me into how the parents were, like their world, obviously, because it's a big factor. It's a big part of this movie, obviously. And honestly, it didn't happen till like 3/4 in, I want to say. It was the scene, which I thought was one of the best scenes, was the concert scene. And we're seeing the daughter, or we're seeing Ruby she's doing her performance finally. Like, we've seen this build up throughout the whole movie. And it's like this big, beautiful thing. And then all of a sudden, that's when it pulls into the parents, where it's this big, grand moment for her. And the parents don't really get to experience this big, grand moment. They just get to watch people and how they're reacting to it. And I thought that was really good. That whole sequence I thought was incredible. I was waiting for it. I figured it was going to happen at some point, and I think they picked the right moment to do that whole immersion into what it's like to not be able to hear anything and experience the world that way. So,
yeah.
I thought that scene was great and how they handled it, and yeah. But I feel like overall the movie was, I enjoyed the movie. It's not something I was talking with Amber about this. I feel like I'm more of an easy to please viewer for movies and whatnot. I'm a lot more forgiving. I kind of just like, if the movie is okay, I tend to be pretty happy with the movie. Like, a movie's got to be dog shit for me to be like I would not even watch this movie or something, kind of thing. There are movies that I think can be difficult to watch, like A Clockwork Orange or
Rushmore,
not Rushmore. Man, you just really driving that steak in, aren't you? Driving that New York steak in, aren't you? Ooh, could go for a New York steak.
I'm feeling a little bit.
Is it that Monster Energy?
I haven't had a Monster today. Kara didn't find any at the grocery store, so.
Come on, Kara. So sorry, man. I know you love those now since the other day.
Apparently I do.
Yeah.
I'd never had one until this week.
Yeah. So I feel like that's an important, I'm kind of like starting to realize that with myself in how I approach movies, because I do feel like between the three of us, I'm the least picky, I think. I'm the one that kind of just will take the movie and it's just like, it is what it is kind of thing. And that's good enough. Like, I don't think, and I think this is where we can get into how the Oscars have been operating. Maybe like, is this Best Picture worthy nominee kind of thing, And I know that I could make the argument that all of that's subjective to begin with. So, yeah. But anyway, my 2 cents on CODA.
So I want to double back real quick to something you mentioned.
Yes.
You said you noticed there were 3 writers, although the writer was only listed as 1 in the credits.
Yes.
That's because this is adapted from, I believe, a French film. I'm not sure the country of origin. It might be Spanish.
Okay.
But so it's the 2 original screenplay people are credited because it was adapted, and then the person that you name dropped.
That makes sense. Usually IMDb will like address that, and it just didn't even. It just says their names, so I was confused.
So that's why there's those 3 listed.
I gotcha. You watched this early on, didn't you? You watched it like when it first came out.
Yeah, Kara and I watched it shortly after it came out on Apple TV, and we both really liked it. I thought it was I presume it did a good job of representation of that world. I felt like it did, as someone who doesn't know much about the world, and I thought they did a really good job, like you said, of sort of bridging that gap between showing the deaf side of things and the hearing side of things. And so I took a class in college about speech cognition and speech pathology. And I know that there's whole communities of there's like a deaf culture is a very serious thing, and like it gets pretty, like people who are born into the deaf culture have very strong opinions about like keeping their kids in the deaf culture or staying in deaf culture. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know that it's like a thing. And so I can only imagine it's, being the child who's the odd one out in the family, trying to explore her own path outside, since she's not really as much of this deaf culture as the actual other members of her family are. So I don't know. I thought it was a powerful story that was endearing and heartwarming, and it enlightened me on stuff I wouldn't have thought about, and just all together, I enjoyed it. I thought it did a good job at a lot of those things. That's my 2 cents off the bat.
Jared, do you want to give us your 2 cents? You were not thrilled to really watch this, so I'm curious on your...
Yeah, no. This is the least excited I have been to watch a pick of ours since we started the podcast. I did end up liking it. My ending of the film was, I think CODA is cute. I think it's a very cute movie. And I had this conversation with someone before the pod, and that cute doesn't mean best picture. And I know you're talking about, are we gonna talk about this because it won or whatever, and I think that is gonna be a good conversation to have. I'm biased just because of the type of movies that I like, but I haven't seen a lot of the best pictures this year. I have seen Dune. I think Dune is better than CODA. So I would have given Dune my best picture over CODA. I think CODA is a perfect Oscar bait type film. But do I think it's a great film? No. And also it's interesting because the reviews or the reaction from folks in the deaf community was actually mixed, and that some people really liked it because it provided more representation on a big screen of folks that are deaf, because we don't typically see that in our media. But a lot of deaf folks actually thought that it portrayed the characters as dumb or incompetent or too reliant on one other person. And I can actually see that, because it was very, very much based around how Ruby helped the family navigate the world. And it was interesting because at the end of the movie, what's her brother's name? Is it Jacob?
I'd have to look it up.
I already forgot. But her brother was like, we were fine before you got here, which was a really mean thing to say to her. I do agree. That was a rough thing to say, but I do think there is a little bit of truth in there, and that they figured out a way to navigate through the world before they had someone like Ruby come along. And I don't think they do a good job of showcasing that at all, because a lot of their interactions as a family are based off of, why isn't Ruby helping us do this? We need Ruby here to do this. You can't go to college, because if you go to college, who's going to help us run the business? Which I assume was a business that they did run before she was, old enough to do that, because he said, my dad was a fisherman. His dad was a fisherman. So they've obviously been doing this for a while. And so I can see that side of the argument like very clearly. But I do think it does bring awareness to like the deaf community, because I mean, it's just not something that I think most of us tend to interact with on a day-to-day basis.
I could see the complaints that some of the deaf community might have about it, and so that sounds like a valid complaint. So I could understand why maybe they wouldn't find it as
that way.
Yeah.
The other thing that's important to know, just from me talking about this movie, is that I sang a lot from like elementary up until high school, and I actually had planned on going into music as a career for a little bit, but I refused to sight read. And also I found out about psychology my junior year of high school, and I just was like infinitely more interested in that than I was in singing. But like I sang competitively as well up until high school. So movies like this always like invoke some kind of like nostalgia or whatever in me. And I think that's a really important bias to know about like me when I'm talking about this movie, because music is a really important part of this film. I did not know that music was going to be an important part of this film. I assumed as much just because it's called CODA. But I was like, I don't know, maybe there's some other meaning to this word that I just don't know, and it's gonna be about that. I didn't know much about it going into it. And so seeing her like join choir and like seeing her like work out with Mr. V and all that stuff, that was all brand new to me. Had no idea that happened in the movie. So there's gonna be probably some things I say that come from a biased place there, which I think is important. And to start off with, Miles sucks as a singer. He is very clearly much better at the guitar. He's not good. I don't know why he paired. I think the only reason he paired Miles up with her is because he like knew Miles and like they were practicing for something else. But if you wanted to pair somebody up with her for that song, you would have paired her up with a dude with the cornrows who sat on the block at the end. His voice was better for the song. His voice was better in general. But, you know, you got to get your story off. So I see why you chose that person. Miles sucks as a singer.
It was just, I took it as more of just a convenient choice to move the story along, basically. Because, he started singing, and like you compare those two, and she's just like, she's on another planet compared to him in terms of singing.
It's really hard to believe. I think there is some like raw talent there, but I don't really know how many people get into Berkeley off of raw talent that was like nurtured. I don't know what the time frame is. Like, what is this? Like 9 months? Is this 3 months?
Yeah.
Breathing is hard as shit to get down.
Jared, she did the dog exercise every day before class. She's fine.
You could even tell in the final performance she didn't have her breathing down. Maybe that was because of nerves, but a lot of her notes, while they sounded strong, were not fully supported and could have gotten more out of them. So like me sitting there when she was like, "Oh, I got into Berkeley," I was like, "Okay, yeah, they just have to tie that up." I was really, really hoping that she didn't get into Berkeley and that they were gonna like show her life like going through like being there with her family afterwards. I was, because that would be more realistic. Because you don't just pop into Berkeley. Literally, like
Ruby did.
Arguably the best music school in the country, one of the best ones in the world, and she just learns like a little bit of Marvin Gaye. One morning is like, "Yep, got it. Some Joni Mitchell, cool. Let's get her into Berkeley." But yeah, that's why it's important to know my bias here when it comes to this movie. It's a little strong. I'm going to try to reel it in. I don't know how successful I'll be, but that's just a little bit about me.
I was not ready for this side to come out, and I'm loving this. This was not an angle I was expecting to come at. So this is good. I like this. You got that fire in you, and I love that.
Ashen.
Yeah, just like when Micah brings up Wes Anderson, and it's not a compliment.
I'm passionately opposed. I'm not really.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. See, I since I'm not from the competitive singing world, I easily suspended my disbelief, and I was like, "Oh, she got into Berkeley. That's cool. That's cool. And I'm really happy for her."
Yeah.
So she had Mr. V, who went to Berkeley. He gave her the secrets. Mr. V was the in, Jared.
And see, I only applied to one school and I got in. So as far as my world is concerned, you apply to school, you go. So I was just like, that sounds right.
Yeah, that's
she
not
goes
how
to
that
school.
works at all.
CODA says otherwise. So
according to movies, which we all know is a blueprint for reality.
Yeah,
that is how it works.
and you watch Dune, so you know what's coming. That's a blueprint for life, right there.
Yeah.
I mean, if we keep living the way we're living,
there's gonna be big fucking sandworms coming. Oh man.
So, but yeah, it was fine. It was my overall.
Long story short, it was pretty good.
The word that always comes to mind when I was thinking about how to talk about this movie is cute. I think it was really cute.
I thought all the performances were great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was something that like I just don't think about in terms of how deaf people, like obviously they're like, I don't not think of them as people, but like, they argue and stuff, and seeing like the arguments through ASL was just like, I just never thought of it. So it was interesting to see like the emotion, and like I'm getting wrapped up in the emotion of it and whatnot. And she, like Ruby did I was reading up, she did 9 months of training with ASL and singing. So she probably could get into Berkeley. She was training for 9 months, Jared.
Yeah. Jared.
Jesus, Jared. And whatnot. But like the way that she was that, our connection to that world and whatnot, I thought she was crushing those scenes, and you could just feel like that raw, those arguments and things with her parents and her brother and stuff. It was just well done. And yeah. I was hoping more would come to me, and then my brain just turned off after that word.
You could see it. You could see it in your face.
You saw the brain just like,
it was grasping.
You got nothing, you idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. My brain is so mean. Wish it wasn't.
I took notes for this one. I forgot halfway through, like I have been. I was kind of just like wanting to be along for the ride. I think the song choice in the beginning was very funny. We would have not been able to sing "Let's Get It On" in high school. Oh man, what's the one song we really wanted to sing? Was it actually? It might have been "Under the Bridge." I think we wanted to sing "Under the Bridge," the men's choir. My choir teacher was like, "Do you guys know what that song's about?" We're like, "Yeah." She's like, "Then you know why we can't sing it, right?" I was like, "Nah, it's fine." She's like, "No." I think that was the one song we got vetoed. Because we also knew that we weren't going to be able to sing other stuff like that. But I think that was really funny that's what it started out with.
Mm-hmm.
Is this "Under the Bridge" by Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Yeah. I loved Red Hot Chili Peppers in high school. I love them now too. And I really wanted to sing some Red Hot in high school. I think we ended up singing "Snow." I think we got to sing "Snow" at one point, which is pretty tame. It's fine.
It's a lot of AOs.
Yeah, a lot of AOs. The thing that I think stuck with me the most from this movie is how bouncy the bed was when her parents were boning. That's like the bounciest bed ever, right?
Yeah. Again, something I didn't like, and they're just doing they have just no awareness of how loud everything is, and so that was just funny to me.
Yeah, but you probably got to have some awareness of
if you're born deaf, you have no idea though. Like you have no frame of reference, Like
yeah, but you have a frame of reference for vibration still. So if you're like going to town and the whole bed is like, and you're feeling the vibrations,
you gotta remember the key thing here is they said to her, "We didn't know you were home."
Yeah, that's true.
Well, they probably do have some idea of what
they weren't considering there was an audience nearby.
Why would you? You're two adults. Your kids are out of the house, middle of the day. They shouldn't be there anyways. Why not really get after it? I mean, they shouldn't have been because they both had jock itch and their doctor told them not to. Sure, we could go down that path, but like, let's say all other things are fine.
We've all been there. Come on.
I've literally never had childhood. I have no idea what it feels like.
I haven't either.
Based on how he was describing it, where he was doing the itchy balls, and yeah, it's probably not good.
Barnacles on his nuts. Yeah. Sounds terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they should have gone after it. And also, this is really weird. Actually, I don't know why I'm just now remembering this. I actually sang with a dude whose parents were deaf.
Oh, okay.
And the scene where they roll up in the
truck.
He actually has a story about when he came home from school one day and there was rap blaring out of his house and he thought something was wrong, but he went in there, he talked to his parents, and they're like, we can feel the vibrations.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I didn't remember that until just now, because this dude is actually one of the best singers I've ever heard in my entire life, and he actually did make a career out of singing. But yeah,
did he go to Berkeley?
Weird. No, he went to Ithaca.
Okay.
Another very, very good music school.
So it's possible.
It's weird how my brain forgot all about that for the 2 hours that this movie went on.
Yeah, it seems like something that would have been like, oh shit, this actually relates.
Forefront of the mind, right?
Yeah.
I haven't eaten dinner yet.
There's your problem.
I actually meant to make a sandwich before this podcast, but I ran out of time.
What kind of sandwich?
I was gonna make a turkey, and I think Swiss is the cheese that I have right now.
All right,
it's a classic.
But yeah, no, it's kind of weird. But yeah, no, I did know a guy, and yeah, his voice was unbelievable. Everybody in high school wanted to be like him because you'd give him a song, didn't matter what it was, he'd figure out how to just absolutely crush it. He was 3 years older than I was, I believe.
I thought you were gonna say he was 3 years old.
No, he's
holy shit.
Also, here's some more background. I'm just going to turn this into a Jared sang in high school podcast. I was in madrigals, which is like chamber / Renaissance music. I did not do show choir, which I know some schools call like heat wave, I think. But show choir is more like dancey tunes because it's called show choir because you tend to do choreography with it. I didn't do that kind of choir, but that's the kind of choir that you would sing more popish songs in. So a lot of my background comes from Renaissance and chamber music, where vibrato is actually typically discouraged. I had to be taught how to not use my vibrato because my voice has natural vibrato, and I fucking hated that shit because you basically were telling me to sing not
the way you sing
comfortably. Yeah, hated it. So like that's another kind of background for this music, where it's just like it's weird to me that is their main style of music that they were singing, because I just didn't do that, because that would have been the other choirs that were doing that, and they had to wake up early in the morning, which is the reason why I didn't do it. I didn't want to do show choir because they had to come in at like I think 7, and I was like, no. That's also why I didn't do track in high school. They're like, oh, we wake up at 6 and we also have practice after school. And I was like, that sounds terrible. She's like, but you're really fast. And I was like, I also really like sleeping.
Not fast enough.
There's a lot of things in high school that I didn't do because I didn't want to do them. And that led me down the path now. Didn't do music as a career because I didn't want to learn how to sight read. Didn't do track because I didn't want to wake up early. Didn't do show choir because I didn't want to wake up early or learn how to... Wait, no, not show choir. That wasn't who woke up early. I want to learn how to dance. I forget what the other choir was called.
I was the exact opposite, where I did all of the things that I didn't want to do because I wanted friends. So I joined the debate team, which I had no interest in.
You didn't have any interest in the debate team?
Nope.
Color me shocked.
Speech and debate. I was on the speech and debate team. I got the lowest ranks you could ever get every competition. But I had some people in the speech and debate club who I really liked. So I joined the club so I could speech and debate them after school.
They liked you even though you got the lowest ranks?
Oh yeah, the speech and debate teacher was legally blind and was my Spanish teacher, and she loved me because I reminded her of her son, and so I got away with everything. And I probably would have failed her class if she didn't like me so much. So she gave me a B+.
Dude.
Yeah. Thank you, Mrs. Waters.
My story is not about me personally, but I think this is a good story in relation to this. Our friend Jim, I think you met Jim, Jared, I think, right? So
I'm at the wedding.
yeah, okay. So he played football with us in 7th grade or 8th grade. I think it was 7th grade. And he only played because our core group of friends also played football. So he joined. And so that particular year, we had to share lockers. And so this particular practice, the person he shared lockers with, his name was Arthur, and he took Jim's helmet. So we had to run down to like this elementary school to practice because they were ripping up the field. So like we had to get in all of our gear and then we'd run down the street to this school to practice. So we're doing calisthenics and stuff like that, warming up. And all of a sudden I hear someone go, "Oh, I hear Arthur." And he's just going, "Oh, fucking hell." And he's like, "I grabbed Jim's helmet." He grabbed the wrong helmet. Jim did not mold his mouthpiece how you're supposed to for football. Like, you put it in hot water and you mold it to your teeth. So when you bite on the mouthpiece, it it fits and it's not going to Jim did not do that. All he did was chew into his mouthpiece. So Arthur showed his mouth. Dude, Jim's mouthpiece, disgusting. He chewed the shit out of this thing. It was like wiry. Like, how does this thing wire? It's fucking rubber. And it was just, and Arthur had to, he had to use it. He had no other choice. And you just hear him putting the mouthpiece in, just going, "Oh my fucking God." Like, it is disgusting. And he did it. Or the only reason it happened was because Jim played football with us because he just wanted to hang out with his friends. So,
Dude, I love Arthur.
yeah. Arthur did not love Jim that afternoon. I'll tell you that. So, yeah. It's not.
Wow, I actually didn't know that about
Jim,
because I did not play football.
Oh, yeah.
Also, did not know that about Jim.
Yeah, I mean that would have been I don't know why he would have told you that story in the short amount of time you knew him, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that was probably not the priority of his in the short time that we spent together.
Yeah, not his go-to one. So, but now you know. And Jim, for some reason, stumbled across this. That story still makes me laugh every once in a while. So thank you. So, anyway, back to CODA.
Back to CODA.
Back to CODA.
Dakota.
Oh my
It's like-
gosh.
It's like the state.
Oh my gosh.
Were there any more specific comments you guys wanted to make, or do you want to kind of dip into the Oscar talk of it?
I get into my notes here. I feel like the second conflict of the film came really fast with them on the boat.
The Coast Guard and all that stuff.
Yeah, with the Coast Guard. I felt like that came really fast because I feel like the main conflict of the film is what would it be? The main conflict would have been like what happens when she leaves.
Yeah, it was kind of like she was like prepping to audition. I felt like, and that was like her kind of building up to that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then the like secondary of like, what are we gonna do? I feel like that just happened really fast.
It did kind of just pop up, and it was like within 40 minutes.
Also, what a fucking narc, right? That lady, gosh.
Yeah, that's.
She knew what she was doing.
She sure did.
I wonder if she just thought too, and she got like, "Wow, these guys are just fucking rude." There's not even like they're just kind of.
Oh, I'm sure beforehand she probably just thought they were rude because, like, I mean, I'm sure no one else was going to be very nice to her because nobody wanted them there.
Right.
They had to pay $800 a day just to have somebody on their boat to tell them that they're doing the job that they've been doing for years and years of their life is right, all while getting screwed on the price of their fish. So I'm sure she expected them to be rude. I just guess she didn't, know they're gonna also be deaf.
Be deaf, yeah.
Which that whole situation was really interesting because she was like, "You all can't put this on me." And I think everybody there fucked up, right? Because like she didn't show up to work.
Yeah,
she didn't show up to work without any like notice.
Right.
But when that happened, if they didn't have anybody to cover, then they also probably should not have gone out on the water because it was very dangerous. But both parties there are wrong, and I think both parties should accept responsibility without one being more than the other. And they didn't really focus on that scene too much, so it didn't seem like she really took that to heart. It seemed like it was kind of like angry at the moment, and they progressed. Same with the dad and the brother too.
Right.
But I thought that was a really interesting scene.
I thought I thought they were setting it up where she was going to bring Miles to do like the fishing.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be on the boat. Yeah, me too.
That's
okay, cool. Glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, I thought that. I was like, oh, this makes sense. She kind of like wakes up super early, does this job before she goes to school and all this stuff, you know, like, oh, it's the perfect thing. Like, you want to make it up to me? You're going to come see the shit I gotta, you know, like why I'm stressed out of my mind and, you know, whatever kind of thing. So yeah, I did think that that's where that scene was going. And nope, they just went swimming.
Yep.
So,
you know, just swimming and making out with a dude who told the whole school about a weird interaction you had with your family, and everybody made fun of you for it again. You know, the one thing that you've been trying to avoid for the whole movie. But,
I did think the remark she makes where she talks about how she talked funny, and I never even thought too, being a CODA, where you are with your family all the time and they don't talk, and so like how she just I mean, they don't really dive into it, but it's something, you know, it was just an interesting kind of thing I never thought of with a CODA, and where they got to learn how to talk from people that don't know how to talk, you know, outside of ASL. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And the jokes with the ASL I thought were really funny too, with the Mr. V, does he say how to fuck you?
He says nice to fuck you.
Nice to fuck you, yeah. He's like, I know what you meant, it's fine, or whatever, or something like that. But I thought like those little moments were really funny. I do feel like, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. I'm gonna jump into the topic.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say to him getting the Oscar, I think he got supporting Oscar, didn't he?
Yeah, because I think Will Smith won the.
Oh, he won best. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right. I mean, I haven't seen the other categories, but I do feel like he definitely deserved, because basically like the last like 40 minutes for this were just like, I thought they were great. Essentially from the talk with the mom and her Ruby asking her mom, do you wish I was deaf? Like basically like from that whole sequence on, I thought the movie was great. I was pretty hooked in just like everything that was transpiring and whatnot. But I think he absolutely deserved that Oscar for, because he was the scene with him listening to her sing in the car, or like when they're in the back of the truck, and he's just like holding to feel the, you know, the vibrations of her singing and whatnot. I was getting all choked up at that stuff. And then
yeah, that was really good.
That was good. And then the other scene that was this kind of stuff always hits me, because it happened to me essentially when I left for school, was when the first time my parents dropped me off, and it was like one of those things where, you know, you're with your family all the time, and then all of a sudden there's this big change of like, they're going to be, you know, if you go away to school and they take you there, it's just this weird, like all of a sudden just hits like, you know, I don't know. It's just like this weird, and it kind of hits with her, you know, she realizes as they're driving away. And like, so that moment, I thought they did that really well too with her. Cause I mean, I could personally relate to that moment. So yeah. But yeah.
I was complete opposite, man.
You hated that. So you're like, get the fuck out of here. No, dude, I was not.
I couldn't wait for my parents to leave. I also had like kind of helicopter parents growing up.
Same.
So like for me, that was an important milestone in getting older. Is that I'm at college now. I literally have my own responsibilities. Like when I go home at night, I go like to, you know, quote unquote my home, even though it's just a dorm. It's still not my family home. And I wanted that experience so bad. So like I couldn't wait for my parents to be gone. I think as soon as they were gone, I unpacked my suitcase, and then I actually ended up going to college with a bunch of people from my high school. And like a lot of my like really good friends from high school too went to the same college as me. So I'm pretty sure I like unpacked my suitcase, immediately called them, and was like, what party are we going to tonight? So like while I see why that scene could be really sentimental, I remember watching it and being like complete opposite.
Yeah, no, that's not me. That's fair.
That was not me at all.
That's fair.
That was roughly the same experience I had. Just like drop me off, and I was like, "All right, later. Like, what's up, college? Time to do some shit."
What kind of shit did you do?
Did not get into sardines.
Not yet.
In college, I ordered a lot of pizza.
You weren't allergic to corn at this point either, so you could probably go crazy.
I was probably allergic. I just didn't realize it yet.
It might not have been
But-
severe. Maybe it was building up.
Yeah, I think
It
it's
could
probably
be.
a little less severe.
Yeah.
Could be, yeah.
You were just like sick the whole time. Like I can't figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Actually, hang on. This will be a funny prop. One sec.
I have no
It's
idea.
right behind me, so it shouldn't take too long.
I have no
Oh,
idea where this is
boy.
going.
I don't either. I'm always scared.
So, at this place, hang on, I can't. I gotta put my headphones back on. At the place in Bloomington, every time you ordered, every time you ordered pizza, and the pizza special at Pizza X, you got a drink with it. So.
Oh, is it like the cups and whatnot? Oh yeah.
So, this is about 1/5 of the number of cups I have. I've given them away over the years because they're good for lots of stuff, and we've thrown away a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Kara made me, or my parents made me throw out. So I've been made to throw out a number of these. Point being, I counted them at one point before I got rid of my collection, and I had like 170.
Oh my God.
And that was all from freshman year of ordering pizza. So we probably ordered like 3 or 4 pizzas a week.
College, man. What a wild time.
Pizza. Yeah, that's a lot of pizza.
That's
It's
you're
pretty
like
good.
you have to be like made of pizza at this point.
Yeah, and so my favorite, which I landed on, was pesto base, pineapple, pepperoni, and then I would cover it in Cholula hot sauce or Tapatio hot sauce. Chef's kiss.
A lot of flavors going on.
That is.
A lot of flavors.
If there's one thing I am a champion of, it is putting as many flavors in one place as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now,
That is a soundbite.
Yeah.
where does the tomato bar? I always what's that called? What's the one I'm obsessed with? It's always in December.
Oh, the She's a Butte Clark.
She's a Butte Clark. Yeah. Where's
that one? Yeah. Not as in favorite pizzas.
Yeah, in terms of favorite pizzas, I'm curious.
Oh, that's leagues and bounds better than anything I ordered from Pizza X. I mean, Pizza X is like top tier shitty college pizza.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than anything else you could possibly get from a chain.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you try like a place that has like 2 locations, you're like, oh fuck, this is so much better than anything I ever had in Bloomington.
Oh man, do you know I can't remember exactly what's on She's a Butte, but you want to give people a reference?
She's a Butte Clark is our Christmas tradition pizza. It is the name of it is based on the Chevy Chase Christmas Vacation movie.
Of course.
It is a nacho cheese base.
Mhm.
Then for toppings, it's thinly sliced steak seasoned with ghost pepper.
Mm-hmm.
It is it's got a jalapeno ranch swirl.
Mm-hmm.
And then you cover it with a whole bag of flaming hot Cheetos.
Jared's facing all this. It sounds so weird. It is so fucking good.
There's no way that's good.
And Jared,
It's one of the best pizzas.
Jared, when this comes out, I literally lose my shit sitting. I'm like, we've got to go to Valpo immediately. I need to get this pizza. It's so fucking good.
It's
It's
so
too
good.
spicy.
It's really not. It's not as spicy as you think. I promise.
Ghost
you.
peppers?
It's well balanced.
I know.
You'd be surprised.
It's
You'd be
not.
surprised.
It's not that hot. I promise you. You're not going to eat this and be like sweating or anything like that. It's
Well,
really
not
good.
immediately, but a few
No.
hours later, yeah.
I mean, what comes out the other end, that's none of my business. You know, it's fine. But
It's quite literally your business, actually.
yeah, well,
Not if you're eating it.
I'm talking about you. It is my business what comes out of me.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Glad we clarified.
I mean,
that.
I'll gladly take on your business if you need me to. So
Sounds like an abomination of a pizza, if I'm being honest with you.
Oh,
it's
just a pleasure.
I can understand.
Nacho cheese.
Yeah, I can.
It's
base.
so good. Yeah.
I understand
Well,
your
steak.
hesitation. Yes.
Steak that has ghost pepper dust salt
Yep.
spray,
Yep.
whatever you will, on it.
Yep.
With
A spritz.
with
Feeling like there's something else that I'm forgetting that's on it.
boy, I hope not.
I'm looking it up because I don't trust my memory at the moment.
You say jalapeno peppers?
Jalapeno ranch.
Ranch.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, jalapeno. Of course,
Yeah.
jalapeno ranch.
Mhm.
What's the other meat involved?
Just
It was
I think
just-
it's just ghost pepper steak.
Yeah, it's just that. Flaming hot Cheetos sprinkled on too.
Where?
So
I'm
we're also
going
talking about
through
two
Instagram.
different types of cheeses.
Yeah, they did nacho cheese base and then they sprinkled it with. Oh, that's what it is. Habanero pepper jack cheese is sprinkled on top, as well as provolone and mozzarella.
So 5 different cheeses.
Here we go, baby.
Baby, this is important.
Nacho cheese base, mozzarella provolone cheese blend, ghost pepper seasoned steak, jalapeno. Yep, everything I already listed is what was on it. Here's a picture.
Oh, don't show me that. I'm gonna get so fucking hungry. It's so good.
It's so good.
Look at that. That's why
Look at
it's-
that steak and
that-
the ranch and the Cheetos.
that thing is a beaut. Well deserves that name.
She is a beaut.
Clark. We don't know. I don't know anybody named Clark.
Micah, you washing that down with a nice monster afterwards?
Oh, hell no. Normally, what would go with this is this showing up? There we go.
Nothing.
Oh,
Nothing normally.
Oh, yeah. Normally, what I would imbibe with that is probably like a barley wine or a triple or double IPA.
They're gonna say a tall, cool Budweiser. That's what I wanted you to say.
Oh, hell no. No. A tall, cool, what is it?
Tangerine Monster.
Bud Light next.
There.
A barley wine?
Oh yeah, Kara doesn't let me drink barley wine anymore. I got barley turnt.
Man, that story cracks me up so much.
The most barley wines are like 14, 15, 16% alcohol, and they do not taste like it.
Why are you drinking something so heavy on top of all of that?
Why not? It's craft beer, man.
Seriously,
I love
how do you feel the next day? How do you feel the next day after eating that? It can't be good.
Oh, dude,
My butt feels terrible,
dude.
but I'm lactose intolerant, and I also can't have corn, and both of those things are on every pizza.
I literally
So-
have it for breakfast the next day. I'm so excited to have it again.
Same. I'll actively be shitting, and I'll be like, "This hurts," and eating this was a mistake, and then I'll go and eat more pizza.
It's worth it. It's
Worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this might be the most shocking thing you've ever told me about you.
Is this pizza?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
So, I mean, I'd say you're doing pretty good.
yeah. I mean,
if that's it, but
yeah.
this sounds
I would.
just horrendous.
I think when or if you are stateside, Indiana side, over here,
Planning a trip as we speak, actually.
is it in December?
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yeah.
It's in December. No way.
Yeah.
He didn't see you shake your head.
Coming out for Christmas.
Wait, you're joking?
I'm not, man. Definitely coming out to Indiana.
Sean's giving this away.
Michael-
Sean's giving this away.
Michael, why, why in God's
know
name
me.
would he visit Indiana?
I don't know.
Coming out
Business.
to Indiana.
What business
Maybe he's
would
got with you and Ryan.
Christmas. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sean and I've been planning this trip for months.
I mean, he would probably much rather come here than go to fucking Vegas. So
Okay.
maybe.
So you
Well, you say
you
that.
should
I
come.
don't know.
You should come. You got a
Indiana.
place. You got a place to stay here or at
Indiana.
Sean's parents' house. I'll volunteer them for you. They would love you.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, be fun.
And then they do gluten-free crust. So
They do,
we will
actually, yeah.
we will do a gluten-free crust. She's a beaut, Clark, and you will feast upon it. And like Moses leading the people across the sea the water of doubt will part, and to the holy lands of nacho cheese based steak pizza you shall tread, and woe pizza shall be eaten.
Micah, you have just single-handedly convinced me to open up a new tab here and just start looking at plane tickets. So while we're doing the rest of this podcast, if you see me looking off to the side, that is absolutely what I am doing, and I'm not doing anything else.
Okay.
He's just
I will take you at your word and believe nothing else.
Yep. So yeah, going back
CODA.
to CODA.
yeah. Tying that back.
One of the secondary themes, I think, of this movie was about the impact that a good teacher can have on a student. I think that's the secondary secondary theme, because I think it's important to have a teacher that sees you and wants you to do well. I mean, this teacher ended up being extremely influential to the path that her life ended up taking. And she was also somebody who I think felt maybe not invisible in school, but maybe visible for the wrong reasons, which is another form of isolation.
Yeah.
And so having somebody say, hey, here's this thing that you all love and that I actually think you're good at and that I want to help you with was really, really important. And so I want to take a second to say shout out to those kinds of teachers, shout out to mentors in the world, because mentorship is also, I think, kind of a side theme here that's really, really important. I don't think I had a teacher that was that hands-on in high school. I do think, and I still to this day, and I'll probably feel bad about this until the day I die, I do think my choir teacher wanted to be that for me, but I was a little shit who just really did not want to learn how to sight read. And if I had just done that one simple thing, it would have opened up a lot of doors for me music-wise, but I just wouldn't do it. And she actually did have one of those like after school moments with me where she was like, if this is something that you are willing to commit to, I will spend like days after school with you in the sheet music room teaching you how to do it. And I was like, no. I did do a lot of stuff in high school though. To be fair, I was really busy. I think most people knew me as a very busy person. My parents knew me as a really busy person. So I did have a lot of other stuff going on. It wasn't like I said no because I just wanted to go home and play video games. Like there were other things I was doing. But if I ran into her tomorrow at the grocery store, I would literally just like be like, I am so sorry. I did not take the time to do the one thing that you would have wanted me to do. It's the reason why I never did like well in states. It's because like I would get there, they would give out whatever piece of music it is, play it, I could sing it beautifully, incredibly. One of the best basses in the state. I will say that all day long. But then you had to sight read, which is another important part of it. I got laughed at once in one of my auditions because I just didn't know what I was doing, and one of the people behind the curtains was just like, "Are you joking? This is a prank, right?" I was like, "Nope, I just don't really want to learn how to do it." But yeah, mentors are important. So Mr. V, great job.
I had a couple teachers like that. None that were like full on, like, I'm going to help you prosper and you're my focus. None that severe, but I definitely had like 2 or 3 teachers who pretty heavily kind of like swooped me under their wing and was just kind of like a protective space and a helping flourish interests that weren't even related to their topic of teaching. Like I had a history teacher and an English teacher who both sort of like shepherded me into interests, despite the fact that I had no interest in pursuing a future in history or English. So I would say those 2 teachers were great, but nothing quite as specific as like, I'm going to get you deep into space rocks or something. Just normal shepherding.
My 10th grade teacher also falls under that same category as you. He made my writing better because I didn't want to try in that class because I think it was AP English. But this is really weird. He got mad at me one day because I didn't answer a question fully, and he yelled at me in the front of everybody in the class, and he told me that I needed to stop hiding my light under a bushel. And I remember that very specific phrase. And then from that point on, he was like, I'm not going to accept any more half-assed answers from you. Like when I ask you a question, I need like a full answer. And I would give him full answers. And I think that actually helped me a lot with my like critical thinking and my writing.
Mm.
I still remember that moment very vividly because I was like half asleep and he was just like furious.
Mm.
And then he gave me one of his prized baseball caps that he kept on his wall at the end of the year because I kept on asking him for it. And it's a Hartford Whalers hat. And it's one of my most prized possessions.
Oh, that's cute.
That is cute. Just like CODA was cute. I
Just
think
like
I think I didn't really I kind of fall more into like Micah's category with this. I had one teacher who I remember told me after a class, he was our Mr. Thomas. I don't know if you had him, Micah.
That was one of the two or three teachers I was talking about who like kind of had me under his wing a bit.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Mr. Thomas was incredible. He's I think Ryan would probably say the same thing about him. But I remember he told me he thought I should be a teacher. He was a very like comedic approach in how he taught, and he was just like, his classes were engaging. He had it to a T where it was like you could give two shits about this, but he found a way to make you care in a sense. And I think that's probably one of the best things to have in you as a teacher and when you have a subject that maybe is not, super exciting or something, he made it that way. And so I always admire that about him. And I remember him telling me that was like the closest. I never really had anyone work with me outside of school or anything like that. So, but
be a good teacher.
I got diagnosed with ADHD in the 7th grade, and he at the time he was a middle school teacher at my middle school, and then he transferred to the high school. And he had really bad ADHD, and so he kind of, once he learned that I had been diagnosed with it, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna sort of give you all my tips and tricks for how I made it through high school," and because when he was like, before I knew I had it or whatever, like I had a mess of a time trying to do it, like I just couldn't pay attention. And then he was like, even like after I had my kids, like I drove to school one time and I didn't realize I wasn't wearing shoes until I walked in the front door of the school. And I was just like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
And so then he like he told me about all his tricks about how he kept himself remembering things or tips and tricks for whatever. And I still use a lot of them. Like I write, if there's something I really want to make sure I remember, I will like write myself a Post-it note and I'll put it inside my shoe, because I have to put my shoes on before I go. So I'll go put my shoes on and I'll be like, oh shit, I do have to go run to Walgreens or stuff like that. Or, just an example. But he was a very character building kind of person in my life and was a teacher. Yeah. And I love him.
He cared and it showed.
He totally did. Yeah. One of the best teachers in the state, hands down.
Yeah. He was great. He's easily the thing I remember most about high school was his class. So,
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Mr. Thomas, I don't know if you would be listening to this, but big shout out to you. Some big fucking kisses to you, Mr. Thomas. I don't know why you'd be listening to this, but anyway. Yeah,
BFK is big time.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this in relations to the Oscars, because this one.
So I want to know. I haven't seen almost any of them, so I couldn't say. If I'm being honest, actually, I've seen 2.5 of these.
Mm-hmm.
So of the 2.5 I've watched, I would say CODA deserved to win. But that's hard to say because I haven't. There's 9 nominees?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
What's the half?
10. I've watched Don't Look Up. I've watched the first half of Don't Look Up twice, and I got sidetracked both times, and I still haven't returned to it.
I'd say it's not worth finishing.
Okay. I thought it was mildly funny or whatever, and then I saw Dune, which I hated. So
yeah, I wouldn't finish Don't Look Up. It's not good.
I mean, Jared, you and I don't always agree on movies.
So. No, trust me on Don't Look Up. It's Adam McKay at his most Adam McKayest. Like it doesn't get any less heavy-handed. It only gets heavier.
Okay.
From the first half that you saw, it doesn't get any funnier. It's basically he made it for like a certain group of people, but he ended up only talking to the people that he always talks to.
Yeah.
So it truly is a waste of a time of a movie. And I say that as somebody who thinks that The Other Guys is one of the greatest movies ever made.
Have you seen The Big Short? Did you like The Big Short?
I have not seen The Big Short yet. Not yet. Mm-mm.
I love The Big Short, and that's another one of his. But that is a bit heavy-handed. But I would say it's an artfully done heavy hand, personally.
Yeah.
But
I talked to a lot of people about Don't Look Up, and like usually a lot of people are like, "I love The Big Short. I hated this."
Okay,
That's a pretty common thread.
I mean, just based on like there's not really a whole big political nature with. I mean, to a degree with I think The Big Short's a little bit more of a universal kind of, I know Don't Look Up is a more universal thing too, just what it's talking about. But I think you've got the people that believe in it and the people that don't, where like The Big Short was just like, this shit's happening kind of, with the housing market and all that stuff. So like, I think there's a little bit less of a, that angle that he was pushing with Don't Look Up than The Big Short.
I think the difference there is just that The Big Short is basically a political thing after the fact of it already crumbling, whereas Don't Look Up is a political angle, but from something that hasn't happened yet, which is the end of good climate on the planet, or I can't remember. It's the comet's hitting the planet, or the world's gonna end.
Yeah,
something. Okay, I kind of forgot.
Yeah. But I literally haven't seen it. I've got access to Belfast. I need to see Drive My Car. I want to see The Power of the Dog. And I mean, just out of, I guess, interest, I would want to see the other ones, I guess. I wouldn't say I'm like absolutely dying to see them or anything like that. But, it's kind of like one of those things where like, okay, well, it got nominated. Like, I guess I'll watch them and see kind of thing. Yeah. But it just kind of comes into like, I guess, my expectation of Best Picture type of film. And it's just something that will never be, it's not going to be a perfect system every time in how this is done. Because I think it ultimately is something that just comes to be subjective, just naturally. Like what I'm going to find and think of as the Best Picture will absolutely not be. Because I think ultimately my big thought process with the Oscars is it ultimately doesn't fucking matter. Like if it's not... If the movie did its purpose and you love that movie, then that's really all that matters. Like, like I loved falling asleep and watching Lord. I honestly don't know. I don't think Fellowship won Best Picture or anything like that, but like that movie meant a lot to me. And, there's examples like that for all sorts of people in their films that they love and adore and just want to keep watching and things like that. So like, I do want to put that out there where like, I think that's where I've gotten so much more cynical with the Oscars, where like I ultimately just kind of don't give a fuck. Like, I know that there's significance to it. I know it's kind of this marketing thing. I think that's honestly how I see it now more than anything. It's just we've got the Oscar award winning whatever, which is cool.
For your considerations,
right?
All that stuff.
Yeah, like, and that's cool. And like, I'm sure if I'm in the boat where like that's by my name, I'm gonna be, I'd be pretty, that's pretty exciting. And so I do get excited seeing the people. Honestly, I get more excited seeing just like the production roles and stuff, like the set design and the editors.
Yeah.
And like when they give their acceptance speeches, they're like shaking, like they're just so excited to be there. It's just something that's so out of the norm for them.
Basically all of the categories they took off screen this year.
Right.
Those are like 80% of the ones I want to see, because it's the people who really make the difference, and it's the people who like you and I technically could be or are in the ballpark of experientially doing. Right. Whereas like, not to say that, best actors and best directors and best films don't deserve them, but like, I'm going to learn a lot more out of knowing like, oh shit, this cinematographer has consistently done blah, blah, blah. And what do you know? His last 15 movies that he was a cinematographer on are fantastic and stuff like that.
I think it's just like those roles aren't as pretty, like kind of thing. It's not the ones that are promoting the movie per se all the time. And I know
Right.
it's this big. I just feel like that's where like the cynicism comes in with this, where it's just this big marketing thing, honestly, for the movies, and somewhat.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, I think, just having worked on like short films, and obviously it's a much smaller scale, but just knowing the work that goes into just that side of it is just absolutely insane to me. And so it's something that that whole decision really pissed me off, that they decided. And I think the Oscars still went longer. I think it ended up being longer than it normally would.
It was still like 3 or 4 hours, which
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
you've
like-
done 3 to 4 hour blocks before with all the categories.
Right.
So you just traded in the categories for an extra 30 minutes of commercials.
and they're trying to appeal to people that don't care. Like they're
Don't
trying to,
care about movies. They just want to do Super Bowl, but for movies,
Right.
which is stupid.
right. So in terms
Sean,
of,
did you like Dune?
I actually haven't seen Dune yet, which is, I need to watch it because I love Dennis. I'm gonna butcher the shit out of his name. Dennis Villeneuve. Him.
Something like that.
I've loved every movie of his, and so for that reason alone, I wanted to watch Dune. But
I mean, it cleaned up in a lot of the categories that you like. What is it? We got best score, best production design, best sound, best cinematography, best film editing, John, and best visual effects. Won all those categories.
I feel like I'm going to like Dune, so it's just a means of me actually sitting down and watching Dune.
It actually beat No Way Home for best visual effects.
You know what else won an Oscar for visual effects? Suicide Squad. Actually, that might have been costume design.
Yeah.
I might have just botched my own.
I mean, I think that
Your own
also,
slam.
I think that's where the Oscars could be good to, like, you know, because like Suicide Squad obviously was not received well. There were all sorts of issues with that movie, but like, it's cool that certain aspects of films can shine, even though the overall product was not something maybe was the goal in mind, you know, kind of thing. So I guess there is a good side in less cynicism for the Oscars, you know, in that sense.
Suicide Squad wasn't even nominated.
The previous one, not
the David
previous
Ayer one. The David Ayer, I do remember that one getting nominated for something.
I think it won.
When did it come out?
The one in like 2017, maybe, or
Yeah,
I think I was still at the theater. It might have been 2000.
I swear, Suicide Squad.
For best visual effects, no, it was never nominated.
Was it costume design? Why? It's not even. I can't even find the movie right. Oh, here it is.
Just your little slam there on Dune didn't work there, buddy. Visual effects are pretty important.
It won. Yeah, it won makeup and hairstyling. All right, sorry.
Bit different.
My greater point was just to take a dig at the fact that, like, just because something has won an Oscar for a side category doesn't make the movie good, but the aspect about the movie could be good.
Damn, and now you're even sidelighting them, calling them side categories. This is the exact type of mind we're trying to fight, Micah.
You're right. That's fair. That was a dig at my own values. So shame on me.
Shame on me once. Shame on. Wait a minute. So in terms of CODA, do you think CODA? I think one of the things that I really like with movies is the giving us perspectives that maybe we don't know about or have any experience with. So it kind of exposes us to these worlds and these particular, you know, like, and I think that's important. And I think that that's something that I admire with movies when they do these kinds of things. And so does CODA deserve to be, like, is it a best picture nominee? Like, in my mind of what a best picture is, it's something that's like you watch it and it's just gonna, like, this movie's gonna rock your fucking world kind of thing to me personally. And so I guess my expectation for best picture has just got to be something that's just I
mean, I think there's far worse movies that have won.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other tough part, is that it is subjective, and it also depends on what came out.
True.
So if a bunch of duds came out in one year and then one marginally good movie, sweeps because the rest of the movies were
whelming.
I can't think. Yeah.
I get you.
Conversely, if you've got 6 Forrest Gumps come out in one year, even the best film isn't going to be able to compete with other great films if there's too many. So because I think we were in that little COVID bubble of not very many things were coming out, and I think that's definitely part of it.
No, I have a question with kind of your criteria. Does it need to rock your world from start to finish, or can it have a big rock your world moment? I think those are two different things.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because I think if I would think of like Mad Max would probably be a good example of something like that, where like Mad Max is like insane sequences where it's like, holy shit, man, like the stuff they do in that movie. And the fact that most, like, I don't know the percentage, but like I know most of that movie is practical effects, and that's fucking crazy to me. It's still crazy to me that there is not a stunt Oscar category for like the stuntmen and stuff, because like some of the shit that they do now is insane, and I cannot believe that they're not only just taking categories out, they should be adding in stuff like that. Do
you remember who they lost to?
What did Mad Max lose to?
Ex Machina.
In special effects? Oh,
visual effects.
Visual effects. I mean, yeah. That's
interesting. That was a good one.
Yeah, it was
and that
good.
Same year was The Martian, The Revenant, and The Force Awakens were the other noms for that year.
Martian, but man, I love The Martian.
But Mad Max lost to Ex Machina.
Yeah, yep. That's interesting. Honestly, it's been a while since I've seen Ex Machina, and I think, I don't know. So, like, in terms of something, go ahead.
Well, mine's going to be a bit of a pivot, so if yours is a train of thought, you can...
Yeah, I think to answer his question, I would say, I mean, that's a hard one to say, too, because it's just something where, like, it's going to be a different experience per film kind of thing, where, like, sometimes there are just, like, all these moments where it's like, man... And I know we've talked where my experience with the movie, me knowing it's a good movie, is when I don't realize it's like, oh, shit, it's over. Like, and that kind of thing. And that means I'm wrapped in the movie. I'm not thinking about other things. I don't have time to think about what's going to be, what I'm doing for dinner, or like, oh, I wonder what's going on Twitter right now, or something, something like that. So I think movies that necessarily rock my world, I guess, is probably not the best way to put it. But I think it's just something where, like, I guess it's...
That was going to be my question, because I was going to say, I mean, I thought Moonlight was a very good movie, but I would never describe it as a movie that rocked my world.
I think it's something that was just not really done per se, and it was something new and different, and I admired that about Moonlight a lot, at least on the scale that the movie was released and shown. I'm sure that there's all sorts of short films and things that maybe touch on that subject in some manner or another, but something that was wide released and made, it was a story that was just, I guess, new and different. So maybe I'm completely ruining my argument with this, because, how often do you see, we haven't seen a story like CODA, so maybe, maybe CODA does deserve it. And I'm just,
Well, that was going to be my immediate note, was that I find those two movies similar in a regard of, like, it's exploring a dynamic that is both very different from anything I'm used to, and also very different from anything that gets a lot of attention in the public movie sphere, at least.
So is novelty kind of the key you're getting here?
But it's not just novelty. I would say it's a combination of novelty mixed with a really masterful skill of being able to make the novelty approachable, and in a way that you can, if not completely understand, then get a really solid glimpse at what they're trying to showcase about the relationship or the dynamic or the whatever it is that is the point of the story that is, important to tell. So, like, I think you could make both. You could make Moonlight and CODA a Lifetime movie quality, and they'd be hot ass garbage. So it's not just the topic or just the, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I mean, someone else could have made this movie. They could have just, like, it does a lot of things have to come into play for these things to go right. Because, you've got one or two departments that are completely different or a different director or something, and this thing just turns into just hot garbage.
I think it's just, it's just so hard because it is so subjective. So like Shape of Water won the year after Moonlight, and I fucking hate that movie. I thought Shape of Water is a awful movie, terrible, so unoriginal. And everyone else is saying the exact opposite. They're like, holy shit, this is one of the best and most amazing and most original movies I've ever seen. And I just kept being like, I fucking predicted this story in the first 30 seconds, every beat of it. And
I think really what you're getting down to here is kind of what we were talking about at the beginning, which, I mean, this is the reason why there's a whole committee for this. And this is the reason why it's so important that the people that are on said committee actually watch the movies, because it is so subjective. And if you're somebody who is in a position to vote and all you do is simply listen to somebody else's opinion, then the subjectivity that goes into the voting process, it gets watered down. It's unimportant.
Right.
Right. You're just hearing somebody else tell you, hey, this is good, pick it.
It's just a popularity contest kind of thing.
Exactly. Because even as you all were describing your criteria for a movie, the thing that kept on coming up in my head is that, like, based on how you all feel about how like a Best Picture nom should be, I don't think an action movie would ever make your list.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would ever be nominated by your standards, which I don't think is necessarily like the right way to do it. Like, I think any movie should be available for Best Picture nom.
Mm-hmm.
But that, like, I mean, like, how many other ways are we going to do action without like really just going over the top? And also, when you think of how an action movie is like structured or how it's typically like written, story is not always what you're focusing on, so that can be really, really weak, which that can detract. So like, it would have to be an absolutely phenomenal movie in the action category to even get up there. And like, I'm thinking about, I think was Endgame nominated for Best Picture at one point?
I don't think it was nominated for Best Picture, but I do think it was nominated for a couple of the other categories.
Black Panther was nominated in 2018, and it's a Marvel movie, so that's huge for
which that did have a bit of the elements that you're talking about there, though, because like, I mean, how many movies can you think of with a black superhero?
Right.
It's not a lot, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And like with Moonlight, where you were saying, like, I'm thinking about what you were talking about Moonlight. Moonlight is not necessarily a movie that was probably made for people that are on the committee. It's not like a movie that they're supposed to necessarily connect with, which is another argument on its own. So I think that's another reason why I think what we kind of come back to here is the actual committee aspect of it is way more important than they have been treating it for, I mean, years probably at this point. I'm sure it's been going on much, much longer than we think it has, as far as them just not really actually watching it, or maybe they just think about like the screeners that they get sent and who sends the nicest things with those screeners. Could even be a recency bias thing where it's like, oh shit, I watched La La Land last and I don't really feel like putting too much effort into my vote, so fuck it, La La Land wins.
Yeah.
I think they fall victim a lot to also doing like saying, oh, well, this story really needed to be told. And so, which, that could be a solid criteria, but it is not always a criteria worth the merit of being a Best Picture winner.
Black Panther actually lost to Green Book.
Yeah. Which is, Black Klansman was also on there too.
Yeah, and Roma was that year.
Yeah.
Wasn't that also that was the year after everyone was talking about the Oscars so white, and then it was just like, how could you possibly make this a whiter Oscars following all of this?
I think that might have been, I don't know what year that was, because
2018.
Okay.
In 2017 is when The Shape of Water won.
Okay.
Sorry, Micah. Like the Shape of Water beat Get Out. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I mean,
literally one
like,
of the greatest movies ever made.
It beat Lady Bird.
Okay, Sean.
I mean, even to that end, I think Lady Bird was a better movie than Shape of Water, and I didn't like Lady Bird.
I need to see Shape of Water because a part of me really hopes that I fucking love it. And
I do actually. I think I might watch Shape of Water just so I can like have more ammunition for this. Like I need to. Like I feel like I remember it, but like I don't know if I fucking hated it.
It's boring. It's subaquatic ET. That's it. That's the movie.
Would you say that's GDT's face? Huh?
To whose face?
GDT. Guillermo del Toro.
Oh. Yeah, he'd be like, I don't care. I'm rich and I have a lot of movies and you've never made any movies and nobody knows you or cares about you. Go die in a corner.
That's not true.
I actually don't think he would be that mean.
Yeah,
he might.
We made Peter Pickle, Micah.
He would probably say it in Spanish.
I think he'd probably be like, thank you for your opinion. I'm going to leave now.
How did you get into my house?
No, it's a, I don't know. I think it's a really interesting conversation. I think I would think the way you solve it is the people behind the decisions take a long, hard look at who they put on the committees, who does the voting. And I think they restructure it. I think they take everybody off. I think they fill it fresh. I think they come up with more rules.
Would also be curious
around nomination.
Yeah, I would also be curious to find out if they did ranked choice voting or just like one vote, one person, one vote. Because I think that would make a huge difference too. Because if everybody's voting, Green Book is number 3 on everybody's, but a third of people put, I can't remember what you said was again, a third of people put Get Out as number 1. Yeah. So would Green Book have won because it was everybody's number 3, but some people had Black Klansman as 1 and some had it at 6 or something. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Moonlight did beat La La Land, so we got that one. Won that one.
That was just a fun moment in Oscar history. That was one of my favorite things to watch live.
That was so just the confusion and oh man. But
good. I think that's what they would need to do for me to care again. Because like I think I'm in the same boat as Sean. Where like I don't really give a fuck. Like I used to like sit down and watch them, and like we would print out.
Oh, you do like your bingo card thing or whatever.
Yeah, well, we would print out the list and we would like wager, kind of like do like fun wagers or whatever on like what would win what. And like the past 2 or 3 years, we just don't care. Whereas like, oh yeah, we'll figure it out. Like maybe we'll make like fun wagers, but then we won't even know who won until like the next morning because neither one of us really cared about finding out the results. I didn't even watch this year. The only reason I like saw anything happen was because of said controversy. But like I wouldn't have known anything about these Oscars until the next morning if that hadn't happened because you just don't care.
Yep.
And they don't care either, and you can feel it. But this is a different conversation, but it's the same with the Grammys. I could not give less of a shit about the Grammys.
Don't even get me started on the Grammys.
They're horrible. They're kind of in the same spot. But yeah, no, it's a really interesting conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I think it kind of ties into to like I know we talked about that documentary with the MPAA and things like that, like the secrecy with that stuff, like all these, I don't know. I think I agree that there's got to be, I'm just going to repeat what you said. So I'm just going to say what you said essentially.
That's so you have a nice voice. I like to hear it.
No, like I'm not going to say it again because I'm just literally going to repeat what you said. You said it well. And I think that is what needs to happen to.
I was kind of hoping you did.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I just think it's, it could
use some freshening up and some
Say
more.
It again, but with club sauce.
With club sauce. I think too, maybe limiting how long people can be on said committees too, where it's
rotate it out, man.
Is it something like the Oscar or not the the Masters, where like you get in once and then you can keep like you're in for life or something like, is it something I honestly don't know how the categories work and things like I'll see. Like I follow the writers from 500 Days of Summer and whatnot. And so like, I've been following them forever, but like I saw like, they were like, oh, I know that they're in the Academy, like they're part of the voting and whatnot. And like that, but that's all I know. That's all like outside that, I don't know what the process is like.
I'm just this is just out of curiosity. It's not a judgmental statement.
Mhm.
When's the last time they wrote a movie?
I have no idea. I mean, I know that they are big with producing now. They do. What have they been doing? They were big producers with Spider-Verse.
Okay.
So I assume they're doing 2, the second one. But I don't know writing wise. Oh, sorry, I'm thinking of Phil Lord and Chris Miller. I'm thinking of completely different fucking people. I'm thinking of I see what you're asking though, like when's the last time they did something that's worthy for them to even be in there kind of thing?
Like even slightly relevant, yeah.
Yeah. Let me look, because that's a good question.
Yeah, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, they're pretty active still.
They are, yeah. So they did The Disaster Artist in 2017. They've got stuff in the works that I have not heard anything about, so I don't know. So yeah, I mean, really,
Christopher Miller did The After Party. He directed.
Yeah. I need to watch it. I've heard good stuff about that.
Yeah, that's also on the list.
The docket.
Yeah, it's another one we have to kind of wait until we're together to watch.
So I just looked up how to qualify to vote for the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be a member of the Academy. That's it. And to become a member of the Academy, you have to be sponsored by 2 current members of the Academy. So basically, it's a. Are you one of us? All right, cool. Come on in.
It's just like a big circle jerk kind of situation.
And then
the first word that came to my mind. Yeah, I didn't want to be the one to say it, but yeah.
And then worse yet, once you are an Academy member, with the exception of a couple categories like short film and short documentary, you can vote on any category, no matter what field you're in, no matter if you've seen the movies or not.
That just is not how it should be at all. It should be
for 0 cents.
Yeah.
For short films and short documentaries, you have to have seen all of them to vote.
Why isn't that the standard?
Why is it just
it makes
that
no
one?
sense?
Also, why are people who are really good at costume design able to vote on whether or not Best Director happened? Or why is someone who, why is the documentary filmmaker able to vote on who the best graphic effects? Yeah, you know what I mean?
I honestly am not as bothered by that aspect, because like I don't want to sit here and be like, you as a costume designer don't know shit about directing, because like at some point you are going to have to interact with the director. You're gonna have to be on set with them. You're going to see how they are doing things. So I think you're gonna have more of an idea of what it means as a director than if you were to fucking fan source that vote. But like for me, I don't really understand why the criteria to get into that position to vote isn't higher or more rigorous. That's where I'm like, literally, I think there needs to be some kind of gatekeeping there. Because like, if it's literally just you being sponsored by 2 other people, then it is just one gigantic circle jerk. And it also makes it extremely easy to stack the voting in your favor. Like, I'm sure I don't know the politics of it, but like, if I'm thinking about, say, like, I don't know, like Warner Brothers or whatever, if they really wanted to get a bunch of people on the board or in the Academy, it seems like it's easy as shit to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I don't really know what the criteria should be. I don't know if it's like years in film and TV or anything like that. I don't know what that should be, but there definitely needs to be something more rigorous than get 2 sponsors and welcome. Right. That's horrible. Yeah. And also make everybody fucking watch the movies they're voting on. Yeah. I don't know really how you would regulate that. That would get a little bit tricky. Like
make them take a quiz per movie, just like something super basic. Like
we're asking a lot of time here. I mean, like we all are out of high school for a reason, and I'm not trying to make people take more quizzes.
No, I mean, I'm not saying it has to be anything complex. Just like if you're sending them a DVD screener, in the thing that has the title on it, on the backside, just have like 3 questions that say, does the dad
They could
do this.
I mean, they
like,
could
They actually
that's-
got rid of the DVD screeners because of the environmental impact the DVDs had on. So they're
Oh,
all
really?
digital now. Digital and streaming. Yeah.
I mean, those could also they could just ask somebody else like, hey, what's this? You know,
yeah.
you know, you could
There's not
easily
a perfect way to.
Yeah,
work
Mike, you
around.
never cheated on a test before?
Well, if they're doing it all digitally, then that means they can DRM them and just be like, okay, this file was never opened.
That's
You're not allowed to vote because you didn't make it halfway through this video.
Yeah, I mean, but then we run into the problem of okay, they're pressing play and then they're going doing other shit, kind of thing. You know,
I mean, if you are that committed to fraudulently
No,
voting for your favorite Oscar film, like fucking whatever, it's
Right.
still a popularity contest, but at least it would have an iota of
Some kind
another
of-
layer.
some kind of system. No, I would agree.
Yeah, I'm literally just imagining some like producer from a production company like giving their laptop to an intern, be like, "Guess what? You're watching today."
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I guarantee Harvey Weinstein probably had a whole fucking factory worth of like cogs and wheels spinning to make people help vote for it. He has like a fucking 180 Oscars.
Yeah, he's got
It's
Like 89,
stupid.
but it's a ridiculous number. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
more than one, and that's too many.
hmm But there needs to be a fix, and I don't
Yeah.
think you go full on fan voting. I think that's stupid as shit because that's just another form of a popularity contest.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
No, I think it's it's been flawed. It's felt flawed. I'm sure it's been this way the entire time, but I think kind of this coming age with like the internet and stuff, there's a little bit more awareness of like what's actually kind of like what's going on with this type of thing, and it's just kind of it's just been killing the Oscars for me in the sense of where I really just don't care, and it's just it's meaningless to me at this point where it's like yeah cool but like it's just marketing thing basically. So
yeah,
I
like
feel
all of my desire to watch the Best Picture noms this year hasn't come from the fact that they're Best Picture noms. It's come from the fact that I knew people that like have watched it. Like I have two friends specifically who rave about Drive My Car. And that's the reason why I want to watch Drive My Car so much. I want to watch Power of the Dog because it just looks fascinating. And it also has Benedict and also Jesse Plemons in the same movie. And I am in love with what Jesse Plemons is putting out right now. Although I will say Windfall was kind of a dud. But like,
yeah
I like nothing about these things getting noms is what's getting me to wake up and be like, damn, I can't believe I haven't watched so and so today.
right. There was
It hasn't been like that forever.
I think the only year I think it's when I worked at the theater. There was one year where I think I watched all of them before they came out, and I think it was 2014. It was Birdman,
14.
American Sniper, Boyhood, Grand Budapest Hotel, The Imitation Game, Selma, The Theory of Everything, and Whiplash. I think I that is the only time I've ever actually seen all 8. It was like the most prepared I felt for the Oscars.
Yeah, actually, same. That's the only one I'm looking at now too that I've also seen all of them. I have a close. 2015 is a close second. The only one I didn't see was Brooklyn, but the rest of them I saw.
And so
Yeah.
and that was it might have been like one of the last times where I kind of started to kind of care, because I feel like it's slowly just like every year after just been like, and I wanted to make like I went out of my way to make sure like we had to travel to go see Whiplash. I remember it was 100% worth it. I loved Whiplash. But
I'm
that
always
was
like 4 or 5 movies off. Or no, 3 or 4, I guess.
Yeah, I mean now, yeah, I mean shit. This one was. I mean, I don't think I saw.
Anymore. I think I've seen like 3 Oscar movies total this year.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad, but that's just the way it is. It's just how it is, and
That's just the way it is.
that's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
how I feel about them. But
Oh well.
yeah,
You still love movies though.
I still love
Still
watching
gonna
them.
watch them.
I still love watching
Still
them.
love them.
They're,
Even if the Oscars suck.
it's true. They're not the end all be all.
Just like
But-
Rotten Tomatoes is no longer our end all be all.
That's true. That is very true. It's a good gauge, maybe in some sense. I would say a lot less with the Oscars, but I don't know. All right. Do you guys have anything else you want to say about CODA before? I guess
No, I think that-
we could do. I got my MPAA number for ready for the MPAA number for this one. You got your letterbox review.
No, I'll get it real
I'm gonna
fast.
take that as no. So the have you been writing down the MPAA numbers, Micah? I don't know if you've been putting those
Nope.
down in your. You haven't
I
put those down.
should. It wouldn't be too hard to go back and add them in. I should do that.
I'm just curious. Or actually, I guess I can look at my edits to this document and see. But the MPA, which actually, I thought this was interesting, and this shows that Apple didn't actually like produce this film. I was watching and I realized she's not using an Apple phone. She's using an Android or some kind of Android device phone, and that was kind of funny. And it's just because Apple bought the distributing rights to the movie after it premiered at I think it was Sundance or Cannes, maybe, I can't remember, but it was one of those. So I thought that was kind of funny. Like, it's, you see anything that Apple puts its stamp on, and there's iPhones.
Everyone's using an iPad and an iPhone and an iMac.
And like with how tight this family was on money, I think it would have really been fucking weird if they all had iPhones anyway. It's just, I don't think it would have fit the movie anyway. But this was also I kept seeing, I don't know if they filmed in Canada. It maybe was that they filmed in Canada, but I kept seeing Canadian logos of companies and stuff. So I guess I would need to double check that and whatnot. But I thought that was also pretty interesting. I thought it was just somewhere shot in America, but maybe American made, shot in Canada or something like that. Because they'll do that when they shoot in like Australia or something like that too. They'll include that stuff in there. Anyway, MPA number for this film, 53,230, which I definitely need to keep a list going because it's without like a frame of reference.
Is that our highest one yet?
It should be. Although the movie next week will probably, or not next week, but the week after will probably be our
2 weeks.
Yeah, that will definitely be our newest one for sure. Jared, have I bought you enough time to find a review?
Yeah, I have two.
Two, okay.
One of them I think is just absurd. Number one is CODA stands for crying on the plane. I think that's the favorite. I think that's funny. The other one, because I guess the comment section of this movie, which I am kind of getting the feeling that it is a bit intense, is I hope this wins Best Picture, so all you losers on Letterboxd go absolutely feral. 3.5 stars.
Wow.
432 likes.
All right.
But yeah, the comments in this one are definitely something. I don't know if it's the Best Picture effect, or if it's just this movie, it stirred something up in people. But
yeah,
lot going on in here right now.
I feel like
what's its that's what I'm going to look at. Its overall rating on Letterboxd is a 3.8, which from what I've seen on Letterboxd is pretty decent.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty deserving.
Box office wise, it was a streaming film. It's the first streamer to win an Oscar for Best Picture.
That's true, yeah.
So it was released in Italy theatrically, and it made $1 million. And that's all the information we have.
Well, okay. I think Apple paid like a crazy amount for this too. It was like it's like 25 million for the rights for the movie or something, which is,
it paid off for them. Because now they have the first Oscar going to a streamer under their belt, which I'm sure gives them a little more sway in terms of other people wanting their movies to be funded or purchased or produced by Apple.
Yep.
So
big marketing thing for them.
Yeah.
I guess we can do our ratings now too.
I think it's about that time.
It is about that time. Micah, whenever you're ready, I'd say you go first since you're putting all the info in.
I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 7.
5 out of
I liked it.
Wow.
I liked it. I thought it was good. I liked the story. I thought it was endearing. It shed light on something I was not familiar with, and I thought it did so tactfully as far as I'm concerned. I don't think it was a perfect film, and I don't think it was blow my hair back amazing, but as far as movies go, I enjoyed it, and I would watch it again, and I would recommend it to my parents. You know what I mean? So I would give it.
Is that
what's up?
Is the parent recommendation? Like, is that a gauge that you have for all the films we've been doing?
No. I would never recommend my parents watch Swiss Army Man.
Oh, okay.
They would hate that. My parents would hate that movie.
Okay.
So, but I mean, like, I would recommend CODA to if we had not done it for the podcast and we were just casually talking about it, I think I would have told both of you. I'd have been like, oh yeah, CODA was good. I'd recommend you guys catch it whenever you have downtime. I wouldn't run and be like, you guys have to watch this. But I think I would say like, oh, that was a really interesting film and I'm glad I watched it. You guys should watch it whenever you have the time, or sign up for a free trial of Apple and give it a go. It probably wouldn't be the first thing I would recommend from Apple TV. I thought the Kumail Little America show was phenomenal. That's probably one of the first things. Or no, I'd do Ted Lasso, obviously.
Fucking love Ted Lasso.
So yeah, a 5 out of 7. That might be slightly generous. I might return tomorrow and give it a 4.5, but I'm feeling a 5 right now.
It's set in stone. Can't change it.
You're carving this into stone? Fuck. This makes some pressure so much worse.
I know. You're shit out of luck.
All right. Who's up next?
I can go next. I'm gonna do 3.5 paws for mine.
All right. That's pretty high up there for you.
That is, yeah. I enjoyed the film. It wasn't, it's like right in that sweet spot where I did enjoy it overall, and
All right, Jared. What about you?
I'm going to give it a pass. The thing that really keeps coming back to me for this movie is I think it's very cute, and I think it's like a really good like 5th or 6th date movie. Like I feel like this is a really good movie for like you and someone you're trying to get to know can just like curl up on the couch and watch, easily digestible for one another, a nice movie that you can connect with one another over. I don't know if I'd recommend it like just willy-nilly. I think it's like a fine film. But I do think I would recommend it for like that specific like use case scenario, or like maybe like, you and your partner just need something to watch on like a nice Friday night. I think I'd recommend it like that. But like, am I recommending CODA like I recommend Demon Slayer? No, not even close. But I think it did enough for me to get a pass. So that's where I land on it. I do think it's kind of slow. I will say that. I don't think I said this, but for me, the point where I really got invested was similar to Sean, where when the music drowned out and you just got to watch, primarily the dad's reaction to everybody else's reaction to his daughter singing. I definitely teared up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely was invested in the movie from that point on. But before then, I was like kind of in it.
Yep.
So it's a bit slow, but I think in the end it does do enough of a job for a pass for me.
I would agree.
What do you think Ryan would give it?
I
don't think he'd finish it.
My gut instinct was I don't give a fuck. That's what I wanted to say. I don't know though. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't think he'd finish it. I think he'd fall asleep.
You probably would fall asleep. I don't know. It's a good question.
I'm gonna say Ryan would give it a forest green, and I think Steph would give it.
Oh, the Pokeball scale, yeah.
A dusk ball.
This actually probably would be a good introductory film for Steph, for somebody who's trying to get into movies.
A dusk ball?
I think it's endearing enough to get Steph on board.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I changed my mind. I give it a net ball because they fish.
Nice, good reference.
I mean, Steph would give it a net ball.
Yeah, not you. Yeah.
Not me.
I get that.
All right, let's talk next week.
Next week, we will not be podcasting. We, as Micah said at the beginning, he will not be here. So we are going to postpone it. We'll be going the week after, which we're going to be watching since it's freshly available on HBO. We're going to do the new Batman movie with Matt Reeves, made with Robert Pattinson, which I'm very excited about. been looking forward to this movie for a long time. So
Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, Colin
Farrell.
Farrell,
Fuck, I'm blanking on Jeffrey Wright.
oh, he is in this?
I think he's Gordon.
Okay, I couldn't remember if he was Gordon or not. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's all the main people, right?
Think so. Yeah.
Did I say Paul Dano? I don't think I said Paul Dano. Paul Dano.
You did say
You
Paul
did.
Dano. You did say
Because I was going to say I will watch anything Paul Dano's in.
Yeah.
Gladly.
Yeah. So we will. I'm sure we'll be.
Are we? You think we're gonna do anything next week?
Podcast.
You guys
with Micah absent.
You guys are more than welcome to do a whatever stream while I'm gone.
I mean, I view this as a team effort. So if one of us can't be here,
should we just put a Rudy or a Micah mask on Rudy and watch something?
hey, what do you think?
He would probably like all the same hobbies I like.
And what if you and I just watched Marley and Me? How would you feel about that?
Do you want to we'll do a live viewing of on Discord. We'll do a Discord watch party. It'll be Marley and me. I'll make sure I have a cam on me so you can watch me fucking cry.
Yeah.
Please do this.
Terrible.
If you would like to see Sean cry, go ahead and smash that like button for us.
Smash that like button.
God, terrible. Don't you dare. Don't you fucking dare. But yeah,
we should do something like on the screen in the bottom corner, like after we get XYZ amount of donations, we have to live stream a Marley and Me watch-a-thon.
A watch-a-thon, so we have to just watch it.
Yeah, that's
no. Sorry, I meant just like
a
you
watch.
mean watch along.
Yeah, watch along.
They do sound similar, so I could see how you would.
Okay.
There.
Yeah, I'm about to say I don't know if I can watch Marley and Me more than once.
You just make Sean watch Marley and Me.
You just had to watch it.
Dude, that would be really funny, a subathon where like each amount of subs just made us add another playthrough of Marley and Me, and you just had to sit there and watch it.
Each sub you have to watch another 5 minutes. So it's like once it ends, it's like, all right, well, we got 10 more subs. That's another 50 minutes of rewatching this movie again.
Dude, that would be so brutal.
Okay, what if we did it with The Mummy instead?
I mean, so if we went through
the new Mummy.
Are you talking about Brendan
Fraser Mummy?
Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, dude.
OG Mummy.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen those in a long time, so that would be great. I would love those rewatches.
Do you think you would cry more or less than you do when you watch Marley and Me?
Oh, I would cry so much less. I would be crying for the comedy if I'm crying at all in those movies. I love
comedy. Oh, Brendan Fraser.
Oh, Benny had the horses on the other side of the river.
What about the Scorpion King?
That would that'd be more of a struggle to sit through, I'm sure.
It's got The Rock.
What's that movie with Patrick Stewart and the Green
Room with Anton Yelchin?
Yeah,
where, like there's lots of murder.
Yeah,
I don't really know
that.
Wait, Patrick Stewart's in that?
Yeah, he's he's the neo-Nazi. He's like the head of the. You've never seen, man, Green Room is crazy if you haven't seen that.
Am I thinking of the wrong movie? Green Room?
Yeah, it's with Anton.
Not the Green Book.
Yeah, no, that's a very different movie.
I'm not thinking of the Green Book. I have never seen Green Room.
Green Room.
Imagine if the Green Book meets.
Yeah.
You know I love Alicia Cat.
She's great.
You should watch it.
It's
blind. You should go in completely blind and watch it.
The only thing I will say is it's wild.
Oh, it's 8:24. I'm going to go watch this immediately.
I think it got nominated for an Oscar. No, it's a good. I mean, I like Anton Yelchin a lot, so he was great in it. But
rest in peace.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know where we were talking about before, but that's
that's a wrap.
That is a wrap. We are going to be watching.
2 weeks from now, we will maybe play that game and then dive into some Batman.
Although it could be a long one. This is a long movie, so it could be a long podcast. We might have to push it off another week. We'll see.
I mean, CODA is not a long movie, and we're on 3 hours. So
well, that's just because we didn't get to hang out last week and we missed each other.
It's true.
That's true.
That's true. It is. If you're listening, or however, if you need any of our information for our socials, look at the information. You'll find all those goodies there. We appreciate you all hanging out, listening, being here with us. Means a lot. I look forward to this. I feel like with my hectic schedule lately too, this has been a nice, as Micah has his sardine hobby, I've got my podcast hobby. So this has been, I always look forward to these with you guys. So thank you all for being here and hanging out with us. Jared and Micah, appreciate and love you both. I'm really looking forward to the Batman. I've been looking forward to that one for a while, so be a good one.
I think it'll be a good podcast and a good thing, and I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah. Same Z's. All right, friends.
As always, everybody, if you got any pickle recommendations or sardine recommendations, let me know. I'll go try them. If you want to send me some, even better, but I really doubt any of you are going to do that. But a boy can dream.
A boy can dream.
And that's all I'm plugging at the end of the podcast. So
perfect. Hit the like, ring that bell, and send pickles. Could not have said that better, Choco. I agree. All right, friends. If you're watching, stick around for the raid. We'll send you somewhere. If you're listening, thanks for listening. Love you all. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye, friends.